Chisom had always been the envy of the neighborhood. With her flawless beauty, graceful composure, and ever-present smile, people often whispered that she was the perfect wife. She walked with elegance, spoke with kindness, and carried herself like a woman who had everything under control. To outsiders, her marriage to Obinna was nothing short of a fairy tale. Her husband was a successful businessman, known for his generosity and discipline. He adored Chisom, never hesitating to shower her with gifts: gold earrings from Dubai, lace fabrics from Switzerland, designer perfumes from Paris. But beyond the material things, he loved her deeply. And in return, Chisom played the role of the ideal wife flawlessly. She was always up early, making sure his meals were ready before he left for work. She attended every church service with him, sitting by his side like a devoted partner. When visitors came, she served them with humility, never raising her voice, never complaining. Neighbors admired her. The church elders often said, "A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband." But what no one knew, what even Obinna had never suspected, was that behind her angelic smile, Chisom hid something dark, something that, if revealed, would shatter the illusion of the perfect wife. Obinna's business required frequent travels, sometimes for days at a time. Each time he left, Chisom reassured him with a soft kiss on the cheek. "I'll miss you, my love. Don't work too hard." And Obinna would smile, cupping her face lovingly. "I'll be back before you know it. Take care of yourself." He trusted her completely. Why wouldn't he? Chisom had never given him a reason to doubt her. But one evening, as he packed for yet another trip, something felt different. A strange uneasiness settled in his chest. He couldn't explain it, but it nagged at him, whispering doubts he had never considered before. "She's perfect," he reminded himself. "Why am I feeling this way?" Still, he couldn't shake the feeling. So, acting on impulse, he decided to install tiny hidden cameras around the house. Small, undetectable devices tucked in corners, placed behind picture frames, hidden in the ceiling. "It's just for peace of mind," he told himself, "not because I don't trust her." By morning, he was ready to leave. Chisom stood at the doorway, watching as he loaded his suitcase into the car. "Safe travels, my love," she said, her voice gentle as ever. Obinna kissed her forehead. "I'll call you when I land." With one final glance, he drove away. As soon as his car disappeared down the road, Chisom locked the front door, exhaled deeply, and turned toward the bedroom. But instead of settling down to relax or calling a friend, she did something unexpected, something chilling, and the cameras were watching. The moment Obinna's car was out of sight, Chisom's entire demeanor changed. The soft, gentle wife that had just kissed her husband goodbye was gone. In her place stood a woman with sharp, calculating eyes. She moved quickly, locking all the doors, drawing the curtains. Her hands, steady and practiced, reached for her phone. She dialed a number without hesitation. "He's gone. You can come now." There was no warmth in her voice, no hesitation, just cold efficiency. Within minutes, a sleek black car pulled up outside their gates. The driver, a tall, muscular man in dark sunglasses, stepped out, looking around cautiously before making his way inside. As soon as he entered, Chisom's face broke into a smile, a different kind of smile, not the sweet, reserved one Obinna knew. This one was wicked, hungry. "You kept me waiting," she teased, running her fingers along the man's chest. "You know I had to be careful," he replied, his deep voice laced with amusement. Without another word, he pulled her into an embrace, their lips meeting in a way that would have shattered Obinna's heart. This was no secret lover, stolen in moments of passion. This was something darker, something far more dangerous. Chisom led him inside, her hands moving with urgency as she guided him toward the bedroom. But what neither of them knew, what she could never have suspected, was that the tiny cameras Obinna had installed were recording everything. Obinna's flight had landed safely, but his mind remained unsettled. He checked into his hotel, freshened up, and sat on the edge of the bed staring at his phone. He didn't understand why, but the need to check the camera footage gnawed at him. It's just paranoia, he muttered, shaking his head. But still, he reached for his laptop. Within minutes, he was connected to the live feed from the cameras. The first few frames showed nothing unusual, just an empty living room, silent and undisturbed. Then he switched to the bedroom feed. And what he saw made his blood run cold. His wife, his perfect, loving wife, was in their bed, but not alone. A man half-dressed lay beside her, his arms draped over her body like he owned her. Obinna's hands trembled. His breath came in sharp, ragged gasps. It felt like a knife had been plunged into his chest. His vision blurred. His mind refused to process the betrayal unfolding before his eyes. But the worst part wasn't just that she was with another man. It was what she said next. Lying in the arms of her lover, Chisom let out a satisfied sigh. Then with a smirk, she whispered, "I wish Obinna would just disappear already. If he were out of the way, life would be so much easier." Obinna's heart stopped. Was she saying what he thought she was saying? The man beside her chuckled, stroking her arm. "Patience, my love. Soon we'll have everything we want." Obinna's world shattered. This wasn't just infidelity. This was something far worse. And now he knew the truth. But what would he do with it? Obinna sat frozen, staring at the screen, his breath shallow. His own wife, the woman he had built a life with, was plotting against him. His fingers clenched into fists, his mind racing. Was this really happening? Was it possible that Chisom wanted him dead? A part of him wanted to deny it, to believe it was just a cruel joke. But the way she had whispered those words, the way her lover had responded, it was real. It was chilling. For a long time, he sat there, the weight of betrayal crushing him. But then something inside him shifted. The pain turned into something else, something sharper. "I won't let them destroy me." Obinna took a deep breath, forcing himself to think. He couldn't act recklessly. If Chisom was capable of betraying him like this, she was capable of anything. He needed to be smart. He needed proof, undeniable proof. Quickly, he backed up the footage, saving multiple copies on a secure drive. Then he picked up his phone and made a call. "Ikenna, I need you." His younger brother's voice came through immediately. "Obinna, are you okay?" "No, I need you to do something for me." No questions asked. There was a pause, then Ikenna said, "Tell me what you need." Obinna exhaled. "I need you to find out everything you can about a man. I'll send you a picture. And I need you to watch over Chisom while I'm gone, discreetly." "Obinna, what's going on?" "I can't explain now. Just trust me." Ikenna hesitated for a moment before saying, "All right, I'll handle it." Obinna ended the call and sent a screenshot of Chisom's lover to Ikenna. Then he sat back, staring at the screen again, his mind spinning. Back home, Chisom stretched lazily on the bed, a satisfied smile on her face. She turned to her lover, tracing a finger down his chest. "You need to leave soon. Obinna might call to check in." The man smirked. "Still playing the good wife, huh?" "I have to, until we get rid of him." He chuckled, reaching for his shirt. "Patience, my love. These things take time." Chisom sat up, watching him dress. "I hate waiting." "I know," he said, fastening his belt. "But if we rush this, we'll make mistakes." She sighed, rolling her eyes. "Fine, just make sure it's soon." He kissed her forehead. "Trust me, once Obinna is gone, you and I will have everything." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. What neither of them knew was that Ikenna had already begun his investigation, and soon the hunter would become the hunted. Obinna returned home that evening, forcing himself to act normal. His mind was a battlefield, but he couldn't afford to let Chisom suspect anything. If she thought he knew, she might act faster, and he couldn't let that happen. Now, welcome, Chisom greeted with a sweet smile, wrapping her arms around him. Obinna fought the urge to recoil. Instead, he smiled, kissing her forehead. Thank you, my love. How was your day? Fine, my husband. I just stayed home, did a little cleaning, and waited for you. Obinna felt a surge of anger. Liar. She had spent the afternoon in bed with another man plotting his death. Yet here she was, acting like the devoted wife. That's good, he said, sitting on the couch. I had a long day. Maybe we should take a vacation soon, just the two of us. Chisom's eyes flickered with surprise, but she recovered quickly. A vacation? Really? Yes, we haven't had time for ourselves in a while. Her smile widened, but he could see the hesitation behind it. A vacation meant being away from her lover. He knew she would try to find a way out. That sounds wonderful, she said, sitting beside him. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Of course, Obinna replied, already knowing tomorrow would never come the way she expected. Meanwhile, Ikenna sat in his car outside a rundown apartment complex, eyes fixed on the door. His contacts had walked fast. The man Chisom was sleeping with was called Toby, a small-time criminal with a history of fraud and extortion. But now he had set his sights on something much bigger, Obinna's wealth. Ikenna's jaw tightened as he watched Toby step out of the apartment. The man had no idea he was being followed. Let's see where you go next, Ikenna muttered, starting his engine. As he followed, his phone buzzed. It was Obinna. Ikenna, any news? Yes, Ikenna said, eyes locked on Toby's car. Your wife's lover is a professional scammer. And from what I've gathered, they've been planning this for months. They want everything you own. Obinna clenched his fist. I won't let them win. Let's set a trap. I'm already on it, Ikenna assured him. Just act normal. We'll catch them in the act. Obinna exhaled slowly. Good. It's time to end this. That night, Chisom lay beside Obinna, scrolling through her phone. You look tired, she said softly. Maybe you should sleep early. Obinna turned to her, forcing a smile. Maybe. But he didn't sleep. He stayed awake, listening to her breathing, knowing that tomorrow her perfect little world would come crashing down. The next morning, Obinna left home earlier than usual, kissing Chisom on the forehead before stepping out. She smiled sweetly, but as soon as he was gone, she grabbed her phone and sent a message. He just left. See you soon. Unbeknownst to her, every move she made was being watched. The hidden cameras Obinna had installed in their bedroom and living room were recording everything. He had also blocked her phone, allowing Ikenna to intercept her messages. Obinna sat in his car a few streets away, his hands gripping the steering wheel. The pain was unbearable, but he refused to break. He had to see this through. Ikenna's voice came through the Bluetooth speaker. She just sent a message to Toby. He's on his way. Good, Obinna replied. Everything is in place? Yes, we have enough proof. Are you ready? I've never been more ready in my life. Obinna exhaled sharply and stepped out of the car. Chisom paced nervously inside the house, adjusting her hair. He's late, she thought, biting her lip. Just as she was about to call him, she heard a knock. She rushed to open the door, and there stood Toby grinning. Baby, he whispered, pulling her into a deep kiss. She giggled, wrapping her arms around him. I thought you wouldn't come. Why wouldn't I? The fool is gone. We have the house to ourselves. They walked toward the couch, but before they could sit, the front door burst open. Obinna stormed in, followed closely by Ikenna and two police officers. Chisom froze, her mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. Toby shot up from the couch, but before he could move, the officers had their guns drawn. Don't even think about it, one of them warned. Obinna's gaze bore into his wife. Chisom, why? Her lips trembled. Obinna, it's not what it looks like. Ikenna scoffed, holding up his phone. Really? Because we have it all on tape. every word, every touch, every plan you made to take this man's life and steal his wealth. You're finished. Toby tried to lunge toward the door, but the officers tackled him to the ground. Handcuffs clicked into place as he cursed under his breath. Tears streamed down Chisom's face as she fell to her knees. Obinna, please. I made a mistake. I still love you. Obinna clenched his jaw. Love? You wanted me dead? She sobbed harder, but he shook his head. You were the perfect wife until the cameras exposed you. The officers pulled Chisom to her feet, securing her hands behind her back. You are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and attempted extortion. Anything you say will be used against you in court. As they dragged her out, she screamed, Obinna, forgive me. He didn't respond. He just stood there, watching the woman he once loved disappear from his life forever. Weeks later, Obinna sat on his balcony, watching the sunset. The pain was still there, but he was healing. You're a lucky man, Ikenna said beside him. If you hadn't found out in time, Obinna nodded. I know, I would have been dead by now. What will you do next? Obinna sighed. Move forward, learn, and be more careful with love. Ikenna patted his shoulder. Good, because not every smile hides good intentions. Obinna exhaled deeply. He had lost a wife, but he had gained something more valuable. Wisdom. And that, he knew, was worth everything. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned a thing or two from this story. Kindly show us some love by subscribing to this channel and press the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. You can also share your thoughts in the comment section below. See you soon.